And welcome back, guys, to the second video on the channel now. And just while I'm free falling down this little tube, I'm going to tell you a little bit about today's build. So this time it is going to be a proper build as opposed to the last video, and this one is going to be the NPC house for the Clothier. So I'm going to call this one the Dollmasters Lair, and the general inspiration for this is we're going to have the Clothier as some sort of creepy old doll maker who lives in a cave surrounded by dolls, and he sort of stitches clothes for those dolls and so on. The main inspiration, again, it came from Fable, just literally a name for a mace, the Dollmaster's mace, which is a weapon in that game, and I sort of built the idea from there, thinking what would a Dollmaster actually look like, and where would he live, and that's when I came up with this idea. So here I am time-lapsing a quick build of the doll's head. So I want like a giant doll's head at the top of this sort of hut where he lives. This one took quite a while, probably about 2 hours to get the doll's head right. I probably destroyed it and rebuilt it about 50 times. It is actually my first build now in quite a long time. I haven't played Terraria for around 2 years, I think. So hopefully this turns out okay. But yeah, I think I'm going to put some music on over some of the time lapses. I had a quick look at copyright law because I know YouTube's really funny about copyright sort of stuff, and apparently, at least according to Google, if an artist has been dead for more than 70 years since the piece that he composed, you can actually play it, and that's just not copyright whatsoever. So I think for time lapses in future, we're going to listen to some nice classical Beethoven. And you can see here the doll's head sort of turned more into a skull. The original plan was to sort of make the head look like that thing off like Toy Story. There's that weird kid, I think he's called Sid, and he has all those like messed up toys that are all like stitched together. And he's got that one like spider thing, and it's got like a doll's head and like buttons for eyes and stuff, and it's really creepy. That's what I originally went for, but I found it really hard to do so. This skull was sort of the result, and I think it's all right. It does sort of fit the theme a little bit more for the Clothier as well, considering that he was possessed by a Skeletron, which is a giant floating skull. So I decided to keep it in the end. And here I'm going to build up the rest of the sort of hut. I want it to kind of look like a giant tent. And then on top of that, I'm going to build some skeletal hands coming down from the skull here over the sides, sort of draped over. And here I am again, just sort of building up on the idea. It took me a while to figure out what sort of wall I'd like in the back of the hut. In the end, I went for this sort of black and white striped thing. Yeah, I think it suits like a clothes maker quite well. And of course, I put a loom right in the center. It's supposed to be on kind of a pile of like cord fabrics. So I imagine he sort of sits in this tent thing, like spinning away his wheel, like making doll's clothes, you know, just the general creepy stuff going on. I'm going to remove those decorations later. I don't really like the way they look on this. And now I think I'm going to start placing stuff sort of underneath this hut. I want it to kind of be like I don't know if you ever like went to the back of a stage in like a drama in school or something, and there was like all like costumes and outfits and sort of like just weird stuff. It was sort of a creepy experience, really. I wanted it to sort of look like that, like the underneath of a stage where there's all like dolls and like costumes and like props and weird stuff. So yeah, I'm just gonna add all that in the bottom, and then gonna paint over it black just to make it stand out a little bit more and show it that it's sort of deep in the depths of this cave. And now I'm going to start working on some dolls that are sort of hanging down from the ceilings. Again, this is the Dollmasters Lair, so I want there to be kind of like all sorts of, puppets and dolls and like sort of masks and all that sort of thing. Amongst sort of the underneath of this stage like area, I'm going to build a giant clown's head. I want this to be quite creepy. I'm going to add the hair in there, so he's got like the typical hair coming out the side of his head like you see on like Halloween clown masks. And then for the rest of the dolls, I made the decision to actually use mannequins and mannequins, just because they kind of look like dolls anyway, and you can actually dress them up by putting clothing on them. So they are sort of practical as well. So what I'm going to do here is sort of build up these like rafters, these sort of towers of mannequins that are supposed to act as these dolls. Just like try and make them look as rickety and wooden and like falling apart as possible. And then afterwards I'm going to fill them up with the mannequins. And here they are, so I've pretty much filled the place now with these mannequins. I didn't really like the way they looked when they were just unpainted, when they were just brown, because they sort of faded into the background slightly. I wanted them to stand out just a little bit more. So what I did is I painted them all white to sort of match the theme of the other giant doll I've got hanging down from the ceiling, and also the skull at the top of the tent as well. And now I'm just going to add some iron cages, sort of just hanging down from the ceiling, that will also have some dolls in as well, just to add to the creepy vibe. So this guy's just got shelves and shelves of these dolls that he's made, and like hanging cages from the ceiling with them draped in. And so a few of the dolls I am just going to add like little bits of clothing. It would be incredibly time consuming to actually clothe them all, and I do want most of them to be white so they stand out against the background anyway. But I'm just trying to show that they are dolls, and this guy just stitched clothes to sort of dress these dolls up, which is just creepy in itself, which is exactly what I'm going for with this. And now I think I'm just going to add some finishing touches, like some moss around the outside of the caves. Luckily there is a cave right nearby. Here it is, with argon moss everywhere, so I'm just going to quickly collect some of that and just place it around along with some purple moss as well. And here we are, the finished result. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out, especially since it's my first build back in 2 years now on Terraria. I love the theme. I think everything came together nicely with the sort of lore that I gave this place. This just looked like a creepy place where a Dollmaster would reside. The moss gives it a nice little bit of atmosphere. I added some, just a few bits and finishing bobs. I like just some cobwebs all over the place and stuff, and some more sort of stuff in this guy's actual hut. But yeah, in general, I'm really happy with this, and I think the next build, well, I can't really decide. I'm sort of torn between two builds. I think, I'm not sure yet. I think I might put like a poll out and see which build people would like me to do first. But yeah, in terms of this, really happy with it, and thank you for watching, I guess. I will be back around this time next week with the next build. Thanks.